changed the running order this week. So we started off with early discussion, the Sony conference. Is that correct?
Well, we did it as a reaction, and this produced a lot of videos. It started out with like Xbox fans were reacting to it, but I think it's just really a bunch of likes and dislikes. So console wars, but I think the thing is that I don't know if it's mentioned it in the news or not, but at the moment we did our reaction and got videos on YouTube, so it's simply like brought more people across. But speaking of which, we got over 100 subscribers.
Yay! Woo, we did it! Our goal was to hit 100 subscribers before the end of the year, and we've managed to do it before the Xbox conference, which is really exciting and really cool. And thank you for subscribing. We really appreciate it. We do our audio podcast as well on Spotify and all audio services, but our main place to watch us is YouTube, and we do a lot of extra content on YouTube, so we really appreciate it that all you guys have subscribed and liked our videos. We really do appreciate that very much. And if you're listening to us on the audio podcast, thank you for listening to us as well. We really appreciate that as well. It's fantastic. We're a new podcast. We're still getting off the ground, but I'm glad we're going in the right direction, I think, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So we just wanted to talk briefly about the Sony conference. We're not going to go into it too much detail because, as you said, we have a whole 2 hours reaction of it. If you want to see our initial reactions, there's a full video of that up, and there's also shorts and clips out and stuff like that. Should we just say what our highlights were, like what we think were the best parts, and then we'll just we'll come back to it when we get to the news later.
I think the best part is Metal Gear Solid. That's it.
Delta. A marathon for me, even though it was just a CGI trailer.
I think this one will be like the flashiest one. And I think these are really good games. But Metal Gear Solid Delta and Marathon are coming to Xbox as well. So exactly. I mean, that's the main problem with it. I mean, that's where an Xbox podcast is good for us. But the main problem with the Sony conference is that we went into the conference going, Sony's first party is Spider-Man, and that's coming out at the end of the year. What else is there going to be? Then after the conference, it's like, oh, their first party is Spider-Man, and that's coming out at the end of the year. What else is there going to be? Like, literally nothing changed between before and after the podcast when it comes to their first party. Apart from the fact that now we know they're doing a lot more live services, which was the rumor, and now it's like, ugh. Foam stars, no thank you. No, that's a
if I want JRPG Splatoon.
No, it's not. It's basically a Splatoon ripoff. That's it. Foam stars.
Anime Splatoon.
Yeah, it's just like Square Enix wants to make that as a live service, which is a bit weird considering they already closed down a lot of live service games, so it's a bit shoot.
Yeah, it's a very bad idea. Like Square Enix have sold the rights to some of these really good games, like basically they sold a load of rights to these really good games, and then they decided, what we'll do? We'll just make Foam Stars. Yeah, that's going to sell money. That's going to make money for us. Foam Stars. No thanks. Very bad. They also confirmed the Q Lite, which is like ridiculous, and they also had a movie trailer for the Gran Turismo movie, which is hilarious as well.
That's weird.
I don't think Xbox has much to worry about when it comes to conferences. It's not a very high bar to. If they do worse than this somehow, I'm gonna be very sad and very shocked and very let down. I don't know how you can make it worse than that.
I think the thing is, people are expecting them to like announce a multiplayer Last of Us game, Wolverine, which has been teased. And I think there's one or few other things, but I think there's also a
Tsushima 2 or
the Ghost of Tsushima is made. Oh yeah, there's pretty much a Sony game of some sort. Time
for a sequel for that. We haven't heard from that, and there's a couple of companies that we haven't heard from in Sony. It was a bit of a letdown. I want to like Sony. I want Sony to do well, but it was a bit of a letdown. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's like they've got. It's like the thing that made them popular was the first third person action adventure games, and now they kind of decided, oh well, that's not making us enough money. Let's make live service games. So they announced like a load of live service games. It's just like not a good idea. Xbox has been doing the live service. It's not worked out very well for Xbox. I'm not gonna lie. No, don't do it. Don't do it. And the Q Lite, I'm like, what was the point of that device? Oh my god, streaming console. We're talking about streaming consoles for Xbox. I'm like, that's cool, but it's good because you could also, like, with Xbox, you could also stream off the cloud. You don't need to have an Xbox console to play the games. You need a PS5 to play the games off the Q Lite. And if you have physical discs, how are you going to play different games on there? You have to literally swap the discs around to play it on your Q Lite. As everyone says, it's like a Wii. It's like a Wii U gamepad. That's literally what it is. Yeah, that's
exactly it. But it's also the case of like, what'd you get if you have split the DualShock 5 into half and then stick a mobile phone screen on it? Profit. Yeah.
I've seen a picture on Twitter where it's like, Breath of the Wild. It's got like, not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. It's got two halves of a PlayStation 5 controller and a screen, and it's stuck together with like the green goop. So you get when you That's really funny. So the Sony conference, I was disappointed by it. And if you want to hear a really positive take on it, though, you want to listen to the PS We Trust guys. They really loved the press conference. They were really into it. They've loved it.
They also love the hell out of Hell Jumpers. And I was like, okay.
Helldivers too. I've never played it, but I heard it's pretty decent Helldivers, actually, to be fair. And then obviously, we're all big Metal Gear Solid fans, apart from Spencer, who gave it a 6 out of 10. And I'm just going to bring that up every episode now. It's just one of those things, a recurring thing. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid, we're all fans of that. Alan Wake 2 looked good, but basically everything good was third party apart from Spider-Man. So, where's Spider-Man? That's all I was saying the whole conference. And also the fact that the Metal Gear Solid trailer was just CGI. We didn't get to see who's making it, what it looks like, or anything like that. They released videos, they released screenshots after the fact and news and updates, but at the time it was a bit disappointing because it wasn't like that. I kind of feel like I'm getting too old for just CGI trailers now. I need something to back it up now. I need some gameplay. Just CGI doesn't do it for me anymore.
Why? Do you worry as if you're probably getting too old so you can tell the difference between CGI and the gameplay?
Yeah, something like that. No, it's more along the lines of when you see a trailer, like I can't remember what the name of the game is now. It was like a cat game. It's like, what is this game? Like, it's just literally just a cat running across the screen. I'm like, okay, but what are we actually doing in this game? What is the actual gameplay? Like, there's like literally no gameplay for half these games. And like, what are we actually doing in these games? Like you don't even explain what the concept of the game is. Like, gameplay is important. The gameplay is the most important thing to me when it comes to every video game like out there. If it's got bad gameplay, then I'm not going to play it. It's as simple as that. So,
is that the Night in the Woods successor?
That's the one, yeah. I don't even know what that game is. It was just a cat for the trailer. It didn't even explain what the game was.
I don't blame you because I don't really remember the name of it.
No, it's not even... Yeah, the name's not even memorable. The only reason I'm excited for Marathon is because I know it's Bungie. If you didn't know the developer, if it's like some random developer, I wouldn't care. But it's Bungie. So it's like, yeah. It's like that trailer wasn't really very good trailer for Marathon. The only reason I'm excited is because it's Marathon and it's Bungie. The names of the two companies, the company and the name of the game is what's exciting, but the trailer itself did nothing for me, really.
But it's still pretty vibrant and colourful, to say at least.
Yeah.
Anyway, the big question is just whether Marathon is going to be a entirely new game like Prey, or is it just going to be a reboot of the franchise that's on like the Mac OS computers? Because Marathon is basically a Doom clone for like the Mac systems.
Well, it's a multiplayer shooter, then it's an insurgent shooter. I think that's what they call them. It's like a certain term for it. It's the new fad. It's the new battle royale. Like it's the new trend in shooters. So it should be fun. Like Escape from Tarkov, I think is the name of the main game that's like similar to. I'll play it because it's Bungie. I mean, that's pretty much it for me. It's a Bungie game. I'll give it a try. I've liked every Bungie game. Saying that, I liked every Arcane game up until Redfall. So what do I know?
Yeah, pretty much.
Speaking of which, I was also just going to say, like, this conference for PlayStation, Xbox fumbled. Xbox were down on the ground. All they had to do was they had the ball in their hands, and all they had to do was get to the touchline, and get a touchdown. That's American football references. Oh, it was an open goal, and all they had to do was shoot it, and they missed, and they fumbled, and they dropped the ball, they messed it up completely. They had the easiest win ever. All they had to do was show a couple of games, and they would have won, and they would have completely killed Xbox once and for all. And Xbox are back, baby. Like now Xbox are in the driving seat again. We got the ball back. We're going on the attack now for the conference. Completely, they messed that up. They could have killed us. They could have finished us right there and then, but the conference was so bad.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I'm happy with that. So yeah, that was the Sony conference. Was there anything else you want to mention before we move on? Because I feel we'll be talking about this all day.
I would say that the Sony conference does have some interesting games. Teardown looks really interesting. Might be worth checking it out. Would be a huge backstab if it came on Game Pass. But apart from that, it's just like, there's Marathon, Ghost Runner 2, and there's even Assassin's Creed Mirage, but there's also Never as well. So I think there's something to look forward to in it. But apart from that, it's just like there isn't a lot that really took people's interests. Is there any of those PlayStation fans who's just have a lot of expectations, end up just got themselves really disappointed?
I don't know why. Badass is probably not the right term for it. But you know what I'm saying. Alan Wake 2 looks cool as well, but I'm not a huge fan of horror games. Probably a bit too scary for me. I'm a bit of a wuss. Just watching that trailer, I'm like, oh, scary. I don't like it. But and there was figures Phantom Blade Zero, which looks like a Bloodborne or like a Sekiro kind of game, but I'm not sure how good. It's like I think it's in super early development, so that CGI trailer was fake as far as I'm aware. It's not real. That's not really what the game looks like yet. It's kind of like a conceptual trailer. So if it comes out anything looking like anywhere near as good as that, it'd be awesome. But I've got my doubts. As I said, they're a mobile developer, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, that was the Sony conference. I was a bit let down by it, but hey, it's an Xbox conference. It was pretty good.
I hope so.
if you like Xbox games, you should watch the Sony conference. There's plenty of Xbox games for you. Also a movie trailer, and also Spider-Man. If it wasn't for Spider-Man, that whole conference would have been an absolute. Would have been one of the worst press conferences I've ever seen.
That's overstating it, really.
Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.